Well, that's my personal build, and what you see in there is an RTX 4090 Asus ROG Strix OC, which has an MSRP of 2,400 euros. And I do actually recommend against buying an RTX 4090 for yourself. I think it is actually very close to being a useless card unless you have very specific use cases for it. But I bought it for my PC, so let's go ahead and discuss who it is for, which is very few people, and why you should consider it and what you should consider before buying an RTX 4090. Now, in my PC previously, for which we have the full build on the channel, I had an RTX 3090 Founders Edition card, and I actually think that's the best card that everybody should buy right now for the high end, because you still get the 24GB of VRAM that the 4090 has, but you get that on the used market for roughly 600 euros, even 550 euros if you look closely. And remember, euros to dollars is 1 to 1, so roughly $600 for an RTX 3090. Now, this card, however, does go roughly 40% more in gaming than the RTX 3090. So the performance jump is massive, but the price jump is even bigger, because yes, you're getting 40% more performance, but you are spending 4 times the price of a used RTX 3090. So just by looking at that, it is not worth it. But what if I tell you that by upgrading from the 3090 to a 4090, I actually got 0% performance uplift? You probably wouldn't believe me, but that's actually the case. So if you look behind me, what we have here is 2 Asus PG348Q, and they are 21:9, 34-inch, 3440 by 1440p monitors. So it is a 2K resolution, 4040p resolution, extended. So it is close, like let's say in between the 2K and 4K resolution, something in between. And I have 2 of them. So you would think I could use an RTX 4090. But the truth is, these ones have a refresh rate of just 100 Hz, because they are slightly the older model. Now, if you get the new model and you get the 144 Hz, you still wouldn't need this GPU for gaming, because you are actually able to max out the 144 Hz all the time, and it's what I'm currently playing on when I play Apex and the new Call of Duty MW3, which I'm playing quite a bit, by the way. So really, the only use case for this card is if you're playing at 1080p 300 Hz on a very heavy game like Warzone, or if you're playing at high resolution. If you're playing at high resolution like 2K 280 Hz, which is crazy, or 4K 120, then you're gonna need this card. However, unless you have those specific use cases, it's gonna be useless. If you have those use cases, it might actually be worth it to get a 4090 and put it under liquid with graphene, etc. And it's actually what we've done on the channel in the past. We have a full video about the Asus ROG Matrix, which is the top of the line, the best 4090 in the market, which costs 3,500 bucks for one GPU. So check that one out if you care about top performance and who it is for. But really, unless you're running these monitors, you don't need it. Now, another common thing I see online is people saying, okay, but I use my card for work. So if I have a faster card, I can work faster, that makes me money, so it makes sense. That's actually also not true in most cases, because with a 3090, even if you're editing on Premiere, if you have a very good CPU, maybe an Intel CPU with quick sync in Adobe Premiere Pro, you're not gonna stutter at all. So the only point in which you're seeing an actual difference is render time. Render time, we have to think about it. So if you are, let's say, an architect or a graphic designer, and you have to do these huge renders, which take 10 hours, okay? Then yes, by getting a 4090, instead of 10 hours, you might take 6 compared to the 3090, right? So for you, you might be saying, yes, it's worth it, but you have to think, if I leave the PC on overnight, do I actually need my render times to be in half? What I'm saying is, before buying this card just because it's the best, put it into perspective. Like, what's the actual difference? Is it actually gonna benefit me and my workflow? Because in gaming, it's not gonna benefit you at all, really. The 4080 is actually a better buy. The 4070 Ti is actually the best card of the RTX 4000 lineup. Now, people hate on it because it has 12GB of VRAM, so it is a gaming strictly card. It's not very good for like AI, stable diffusion, etc. However, for gaming, if you're gonna buy a new card, I think that's the card to get, honestly. I also have a few builds on the channel with that, by the way. And again, if you're doing stable diffusion and you need like stuff done quick, then yes, buy a 4090, okay? 24 gigs of VRAM, it's gonna be useful, but again, a 3090 will actually do the trick. And as far as I've heard, you can actually be running multiple RTX 3090 for render only. Since the 3090 costs a quarter of the price, you could actually buy two and have the same performance for half the price, but you would need to buy a better power supply, which makes us transition to the next step of our discussion, and that is power supply. If you get a 4090, you can either use this ugly adapter like I have done in my PC, because I've just swapped it out and I have an 80 plus titanium PSU, which yes, they do exist and they are the best for efficiency on the market. They're useless for you, by the way, 80 plus titanium PSUs, but I've gotten this one for cheap, so I have it from Seasonic. But I didn't want to change my power supply, so I had to use the ugly adapter, and now I have the PC just looking bad with the adapter. So you are gonna need an ATX 3.0 power supply as well, which is also another negative to get in the 4090. However, one extra thing in which it really excels, and I have to say it is insanely efficient. So in the reviews, people were saying, this card draws a lot of power. No, it doesn't. I can run it at stock on my 850 watts PSU with a Ryzen 9 1700X, and combined they draw like 600 watt peak. But I run my system undervolted, so you know how much my system draws in gaming? 400 watts. Yes, 400 watts with a 4090. Full system power draw. Why? Because I run them undervolted, so I do have guides on how to do it on the channel, so you might want to see those, but just go to show it's insanely efficient. So if you're doing longer renders, you're actually gonna save money on your electricity bill, as well as save time. Since you save time, you are saving money twice. Follow me with this, because the PC is running half, so you're drawing half the power. So let's say you're roughly drawing half because the GPU is more efficient, half because you're running half the power. You're effectively running at a quarter of the electricity you would, so you're gonna save money. But even there, to gain back your money to make a 4090 is gonna take a while, but there are positives to it. But really, I think, unless you have very specific work needs or competitive gaming, it's a card you should not buy. It's just a waste of money, and I am kind of against wasting money. So this is my recommendation for today's video, and yes, I hope you liked it. Please, if you want to add to the discussion, drop a comment and tell me why I'm wrong or why I'm right, or why you've just bought a 4090. And I really like to read what you guys think and to answer you. And maybe if you want to see more content and stick around, consider dropping a like and a sub, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.